Hello everyone, my name is Miguel. The microbrand world continues to evolve, and every so often a new name emerges that feels both familiar and entirely new. Today we're taking a look at a young brand called Valor, created by the same team behind Flux Watches, a microbrand I've covered previously and one that's known for pushing boundaries in design and finishing. Valor represents a shift in philosophy for the group, creating a more accessible lineup without sacrificing the specs or visual ambition that make Flux stand out in the first place. Their very first release is a Valor Lucent B001, and after spending some time with it on the wrist, it's clear that this watch aims to deliver an impressive amount of craft and detail at a price point that feels almost disarming. The case is crafted from grade 5 titanium, giving the watch a rugged lightness that immediately separates it from most of the watches in the market, especially at this price. Titanium's muted sheen and soft gray character are present here, but the finishing brings out a crispness you usually associate with steel. At 39mm in diameter with a 45mm lug-to-lug and a thickness of just 11.37mm, the proportions feel remarkably well thought out, and even the signed 5.8mm push and pull crown feels well constructed and balanced. This is a kind of sizing that works on a broad range of wrists, and on my 6 7/8 inch wrist, the watch sits naturally with a presence that's confident without ever being overbearing. This lightweight case only enhances the comfort. This is the kind of watch you forget you're wearing. After all, it only weighs in 80 grams with the supplied strap. Valor chose a sapphire crystal for the front, but it's what they've done with the underside that stops you in your tracks. There's no denying that this watch takes inspiration from the brand MING, especially in the way the brand has printed the lume on the inner surface of the crystal. That design language has become something of a signature in modern independent watchmaking. But what's interesting is that Valor manages to channel that spirit at a fraction of the cost. The watch doesn't feel derivative so much as it feels like a study in reinterpreting a familiar idea through a more attainable lens. And unlike the MING pieces that often live in the four-figure space, the Lucent V001 debuts at a Kickstarter price of only $399, which almost feels unreal considering what you're getting. The lume in particular is worth pausing on. Valor has applied both BGW9 and C1 Super Luminova, and the combination gives the watch a layered glow that feels alive in low light. The lume isn't limited to the sapphire crystal treatment, it's also applied on the cast lume blocks on the dial itself. This dual application creates depth and dimension when the watch transitions from bright environments to dim ones. It's one thing to have great lume, it's another to use lume as a design element. Valor clearly understands the difference. Then there's the dial. The brand calls it a custom swirl finish dial, but that description barely captures what's happening here. In motion, the dial behaves almost like a turbine, spiraling and shifting as the light rolls across its surface. Look closer, much closer, and the pattern begins to resemble feathers, with a texture that hints at that structure of bird plumage. It's subtle, intentional, and surprisingly emotional. This is not a generic stamped dial. This is a dial with character, one that rewards anyone who spends an extra second looking at it. Details like this are often reserved for far more expensive pieces, which makes this inclusion here all the more notable. There's a plethora of different color dials. Powering the watch is a Miyota 8315, offering a healthy 60-hour power reserve. It's part of the newer 8 series lineup, a movement that's reliable and easily serviceable. Though admittedly not my first choice from Miyota's catalog, the 9 series is a touch smoother, more refined, and generally better regarded among enthusiasts. But the choice here makes sense. Using the 8315 helps keep the overall cost down without sacrificing too much performance. And to Valor's credit, they're giving the movement a proper display caseback, revealing a decorated rotor that adds a touch of refinement to the mechanical heart of the watch. Future versions of the Lucent will likely feature upgraded calibers, and that's something to look forward to. But for now, the 8315 feels appropriate for the debut price point. The watch is paired with a hybrid sailcloth and FKM rubber strap, and it's an excellent choice. The sailcloth brings texture and structure, while the FKM underside brings flexibility and comfort. Combined with a sturdy and well-machined deploying clasp, the strap feels premium in a way many microbrands never quite achieve. This is a watch you can wear all day without fatigue, and the titanium case only amplifies that everyday wear advantage. If I had to identify areas for improvement, water resistance would be the first. The watch is rated at 50 meters, which is fine for daily wear, but 100 meters would offer more versatility and confidence. Valor explained to me that achieving that greater resistance would have required a thicker case and proportions would have suffered. It's a fair compromise, though one I hope to see addressed in later releases. A future upgrade to a higher grade movement would also be welcome, and based on the brand's early direction, it seems like both of these improvements are already on their roadmap. Despite those small critiques, the Lucent B001 feels like a strong debut, a watch that's visually striking, mechanically sound, and priced with clear intention. It doesn't simply try to imitate a more expensive watch. It explores the same design language and attempts to democratize it for a broader audience. The result is a watch that feels refreshing in its ambition and honest in what it aims to offer. The Lucent B001 is different, it's bold, it has presence and personality, and after spending some time with it, I can honestly say I want one for my own collection. If this is a start for Valor, the future looks incredibly promising. Let me know your thoughts on this watch, and until next time, be safe out there and stay humble.